Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Love Your Body podcast. I hope you're having an awesome day. I know we are right in the middle of December, so things are a little hectic. Everyone's trying to get Christmas presents, holiday, all these things, getting ready for everything. And I know it kind of can go by really, really fast, and we don't take enough time to sit back and appreciate the moment. But I definitely have been trying to do that for myself, even though things have been kind of hectic. And today, I really want to talk about something that I've always kind of had this mindset, and I've noticed a lot of my clients, a lot of people are starting to catch on to it. Um, but it's so interesting to me. So when in my life, like when I have focused on business, right? Things have just been seamless. It has just been like amazing. And someone asked me the other day, said, Danny, like, how did you make it? And I was like, what do you mean? How did I make it? Like, you know what I mean? Like in my, like, this is not making it, but like, how did I get to the level where I'm at right now? And so for me, it was a simple thing of I just kept going. And the person I was talking to was kind of like, okay, like, can you give me more? And, I hate when people are just like, you just have to like network and like get out there. Okay, well, yes, you have to network and get out there, like, of course. But also, like, for me, it was more of I just kind of kept my head down. I kept working. I kept going. And I dealt with a lot of negativity and a lot of nonsense during the whole, the whole time of like my business. I literally was in a space with people who didn't really care for me to be in the space with them, and, kind of had judgment around it of being the only female and being young and like not knowing what I'm doing kind of thing. And so kind of being looked down at. And I've always kind of had that surrounding, my business and everything with D&D Fitness. And so when I was talking to this person, I was just like, honestly, like you have to just keep on staying positive throughout and looking at your life as this like holistic triangle, right? So with that for me meant that my goal was that business, personal, and just like everything else in my life would be like on the same level, right? So finances be on the same level, personal be on the same level, business be on the same level. And it was funny because I think when I've been talking to my clients, something that we've all been talking about is that, you know, everything for personal is so hard, right? So hard for some of them. They're like, dating is this and dating is that and all this stuff, right? And I'm like, I get it. I totally understand because for me, I've always reflected and been like, why has this subset of my life been so different than the rest? Right. And like I even had someone comment and tell me and say to my like a friend, but say to me the other day, they were like, you're just crushing it in every aspect except for your personal life. And it was like, man, like that was upsetting, to hear. And it was just like, I don't view it that way because I view it as more so of, for me, I am growing, I'm learning, I'm becoming my best self. And, I think that for me, like I had mentioned to someone that there was this guy and I've definitely been crushing on him. And, it is one of those things where I'm like, if in some world, if he were to ask me on a date or if that was to happen, or even if not him, but somebody else, that was just awesome and exceptional, would I be exceptional as well? Like, and really think about that. Like, don't just be like, yeah, you're great, you're awesome. But like, would I be able to bring to the table something exceptional or something different that would change the situation in a personal setting, not just a business setting? And so that's where I look at it as that is what I try to focus on. So when I say fight for what you want or get better, or like, getting better and focusing on working on ourselves, that's what I'm meaning is that like you are continually fighting for whatever it is that you want. So if you're wanting that relationship to be that equal part of, okay, well, my business is on point, my finances are on point, I got this cute dog at home and, or whatever. And like everything is so great, except I don't have someone. Okay, well, then let's look at that and unpack that of like, do you feel like you are attracting the right type of people? And so what I have realized through this journey of losing someone is okay, the people that I started to attract were mimicking how I like the personality that I was giving to them. Like they were mimicking how like, so if I was dealing with trauma, so then I started attracting some trauma people. Like and again, everyone can say everyone's been through trauma. There are severities to the trauma and there's, and so it can be a little bit different or a little bit more intense. So it was just like very like traumatized people. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to for us both to kind of be in this level together and we're trying to like dig our way out of this hole together, you know? I would rather, find someone who is, has like this mindset of they're continually working better, or working towards a better them, but it's also like they're in this, I don't know, they're in this with me, but like not I'm not holding them back and they're not holding me back. It could really be a true partnership. So I don't know. So when I talk with clients, I feel like it is as simple as, okay, what worked for my business? Well, I didn't overthink it. I just moved forward. I kept going. I was consistent. I looked at, and then another thing that was pivotal, I looked at what other people were not doing. So I didn't look at, oh, that person's doing this. Okay, I'm going to do that too. I looked at, okay, well, I don't see anyone doing this. I'm going to do that. I don't know of anyone else doing this, so I'm gonna do that. And so when it comes to dating, it's almost like, okay, well, what does everyone else do? Right. And maybe it's because societal norms tell us that, it's more appropriate to, push things faster than they should. Right. So, okay, well, so maybe I do that differently. Right. Maybe instead of, I don't know, like something I learned the other day was like, instead of something that I've done is I kind of have not compromised, but I kind of will let things slide and for sake of not having the energy to like make them actually like make it m- like call the person out on it. And I was like, no, I am very opinionated. I am very open. I am very like honest and real. So just say that. If this is what bothers you, say it. And I think it's fear of like hurting their feelings and stuff like that. And it's like I don't feel like that when it comes to, really to any part of my business, right? Like if someone doesn't want to train with me, that's fine. Like no feelings hurt. Like that's cool. Like I'm going to work with people that are driven and that are wanting to fight for what they want, and not just lose, 50 pounds in 5 months or what, you know what I mean? Like, and just like whatever, but, and focus more on people on making this a real healthy lifestyle journey. So, yeah, so I've just been kind of analyzing that of so I think that for me, it's like, okay, I should work on not like working on it. I don't know how to say that. Like I should just be myself and just be who I am. And some people are like, well, how are you going to meet anybody like that? That's a great question. But both like of the people that I've cared for before in my past, like literally walk through the door and they were just there. Okay, I didn't search for them, I didn't whatever, and people can say, "Oh, well, those didn't really work out too well for you, so maybe that's not the best approach." But again, I think that God brings people in your life that, again, mimic where you're at kind of in your journey and at that time and things like that, and those people mimicked fitness and health and, confidence or what seemed to be confidence, and, like, just mimicked a lot of the same characteristics of what I envisioned and what I loved, and so that was the initial attraction, right? It wasn't really the physical part. So for me, it's like that is what I'm attracted to is this energy. And so same thing with like the guy I'm crushing on or whatever. It is just an energy. And I don't, with my business, it's the same thing with me trying to explain to that guy, like tying us back to the beginning. It's like, he didn't really understand when I was saying it, but then eventually I think he got it of me just being like, it's an energy, it's a vibe, you just know kind of this intuition of how to go forward and not pick it apart so much. Because I'm sure if someone literally went through my entire span of Dandy Fitness, they'd be like, wow, like you shouldn't have done this and then you shouldn't have done that. And you shouldn't like, of course we can dissect all of that. But, like and you can dissect it with relationships, same type of way. Well, I shouldn't have dated him and should have known the red flags there and should have, done this differently. So, again, I think that if we start to look at it as similar, right? So, if your work life is not the best, but then your personal life is great, it's like, okay, well, how like, what is that like? Why is that? Oh, because you feel free and you're personal and you're just like ready to vibe and all this is great and you love in life and that person makes you feel special. Okay. Well, so then maybe like asking your boss and saying, "Hey," like, or if you work for yourself, whatever, but like talking to yourself about like, okay, well, how can I make myself feel special? Like, how can I find this energy, the same energy and match it and feel like that in my work life? And then from there, it's like, okay, maybe these dots start to connect where you find yourself feeling like, your best self because you are now bringing that triangle together. You are fitting the pieces together. Like, I love the movie The Holiday, and they say in there that like, the guy says to the girl, to Kate Winslet that you are like I'm a square peg and you're a round hole or something like that. Like it's like we just never matched. We never went together. And I think that sometimes we stay in jobs because we're like, man, I'm gonna make the square peg and the round hole, like it's gonna go together. It is gonna go in, right? And it's like, no, no way that you look at it, no way that you do anything, it's not gonna work. And that's the same thing when it comes to the personal. I have listened to stories and stories and stories of people and have experienced it myself of you stay around for that person because you think they're gonna change. You think things are gonna be different. You think that that square peg and that round hole are gonna mesh together, and it does not work. And when Kate Winslet in the movie, like, finally well, spoiler alert, it's like a 7-year-old movie, so, but, like, if you look at it, if you watch it, it's really great, but again, it's like when she realizes that, she's like, "Yeah, you gotta get out of my house." She's like, "Get out," and, like, she is somewhere to be, and she is living her life, and she is over that dude, and it is such a triumphant moment because she wasted so much time on that person, hoping and praying that, like, that it would fit, but they knew from the beginning it wouldn't. But we hold on to these memories and we hold on to these things and try to change it in our mindset. And I know that's what people do in their jobs as well. Um, Especially even with finances, they think like eventually their finances are going to get better. They're going to save more money. You're going to do this and that and whatever, but they don't take the time to actually look at like, okay, well, how can I do that? Like, what do I do to change that? How do I navigate this? Because clearly I'm spending more that I'm making. So if you don't sit down to kind of, like, think about it, well, it's always gonna be that pattern. And it's the same thing with the relationships and stuff. I just really think that we get into this whole mindset of everything's so different. Like, you can crush business, but personal life is just horrible because men out here are the worst, or for men, females are the worst. But I feel like we have to take some responsibility on it of like, yeah, there are horrible dates. There are people that don't match up. There are, weird dates. There's so many things that go down. But at the end of the day, like, I really think for me, I have to be my best self before, and I don't think I know this because this is what happened before, because I was my best self at the time that I met someone so many years ago. And then therefore mindset wise, I was ready. I was this, I was that, with this past relationship, I was ready. Um, but I was focusing on my best and not wondering about it. And like, of course, I was still like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, of course, I was still like, oh, it'd be nice to like have someone, or it'd be nice to kind of like, talk to somebody or whatever. But it was honestly at that moment, like I remember I was talking to someone and I realized how wrong it was. Like the person I was talking to that was so wrong for me at that time. And then I realized like, man, okay, like there's this great person and so I'm gonna pursue this and everything like that. But even before that, I had just been going on dates and really wasn't talking to anybody and for a while. And it felt really empowering because I had done so many things. Like I remember I had sponsored like the National Fit Games. I had done like all these great things with my business. And then therefore my personal was so great. And like, I was doing PRs and like I was, you know, just crushing strong woman competitions and just like really vibing and everything like that. And it wasn't because like that person did not make these things happen. I still made them happen. Like I still manifested them. I still worked. I still fought for it. I still did all that. And it was nice to have that support in the beginning. But it just comes back to everything was in sync. And that was what was incredible. So for me personally, I'm not, I look at it as I'm not fighting for like, man, I want someone, I need someone, right? I want someone to be a part of this journey with me versus I need this, like just like with clients. Like someone can say, well, you need clients. I would like more clients. Like, I want more clients. Do I need more clients? Not necessarily, but I want more clients, because I wanna help people. I wanna influence more people. I wanna, give more clients to, my lead trainer. I want to expand. I wanna grow. So, again, I just come back to this whole notion of that triangle of like, okay, so let's look at the things that I mean, really, because money is a very important thing. Everyone can say, "Oh, it's not," whatever, but it is important. It shouldn't be your primary focus, but we have to make money to live. And then we have, our relationships. And that's what most people on this earth, I mean, everyone I feel like everyone is destined to have a love, like to have some love, right? And it might not be romantic, but it might just be, friends, and it might be, your animals or like whatever, but like you are meant to have love in your life. And so then from there, then you have your business and you're like what makes you like, I guess I don't want to say special, but like what is your vibe? Like who you what you do and like who you are. And so I just think that for me, and what I want to tell my clients, I want to tell you, my listeners, is that at the end of the day, if we can try to close the gaps and bring this triangle together, I know that it will create better people, better mindsets. And so anytime you start to doubt yourself or rearrange things because emotions are involved with like people, I really encourage you to be like, would I stand for this? Like, if this was business, if this was a business transaction right now, would I be down for this? And I mean, you may say yes. I don't know, but but it might be one of those where it's like, okay, you see it now more plainly, versus looking at it as love is so different, and than like the other elements in your life that you have just excelled in, because clearly you're doing something right, and clearly I have been doing something right when it comes to business wise. And yeah, so I don't know. Think about that for a little bit. Let me know, guys. Like I always encourage you guys to subscribe to the podcast, obviously, leave a 5-star review, and like message me. And a lot of you have been messaging me about how you like the podcast, what you've learned from it. And or if it's a similar situation, you're like, oh man, yeah, like I feel that. Like I totally get that. Like, please like reach out. Like I would love to talk to you, and then share your story or keep it private. And that's just for us, like whatever. But I really am glad that this channel is helping and is helping you to just even think more. You may be like, Daniel, like, "Oh, how do I do this?" Well, like, I don't have the answer for everyone, but again, from my experiences and what I've learned, like this is kind of how I'm viewing it and what I'm going to try. And and again, if you don't try things, like if you don't fail, you're never going to know what's the right path to go down. Because I just seldomly know people that just like picked one thing and went for it and it was great. For example, I did like 7 different internships in college. I literally helped out with like graphics and like marketing for this like clothing boutique store. And I was a event coordinator for like a wedding venue. And then like I went and did, yeah, I worked at a sub shop. That was like my first job before I took my job at the T-Rex in Knoxville and started doing group fitness and stuff. So it's just one of those of like I've done literally where I go around and I just get paid to put like flyers in like on people's like car dashes. Like, like horrible jobs like that. But I had to go through those to see what I wanted to, like who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and what made sense. So it wasn't like I just came out and was like, "Oh yeah, fitness queen, always been fit, always love my body." Like that's not at all. And so I really encourage you to take a second if this is your first podcast and like go back to the beginning, listen to a little bit more about my story, read my Shape magazine article, kind of understanding that. And I will say too, I really do believe that on some level, if you are single through the holidays, and I know it's hard, but if you are single through the holidays, or if you're single just in general, whatever, like there's some part of you that either is not ready to be in a relationship, which I can vouch for myself, of like I'm not ready to jump right into all of that. Now, would I like to go on dates with someone? Yes, and like get to know them, everything. Of course, I'm at that level. Um, but yeah, but it is like a thing where it is being scared of fear of maybe a repeat, like deja vu, or something that happened before with all the the nonsense and everything like that in my last relationship, or sometimes it's just like I appreciate really being single because I have been thriving, and even growing up, I was like, no, I have dance, no, I have this. Like I was always so busy. And so that's been my mantra is work, 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 and be consistent, consistent, consistent. But I have put away the like and not carved out time for those relationships because I felt like it was a waste because they were either going to take away from me in my business. And it until you find the right person that you'll know that they don't take away from you and they really give and they really um commit to that relationship. And, for me, that's why, like, I guess it may look like I don't date around or I don't whatever, but it's because I'm just waiting for someone exceptional, just like with everything that I've done, with my business. It is exceptional and it is exciting and it is fun, and that's what I want to mimic for my personal life. So, hope this helps, guys, and I will talk to you next time.